My name is Peter, and so I am super excited to share this topic with you. We wanted to craft something specific for teachers, and hopefully that you can get something from it. Now, when I say teachers, I really do mean anyone potentially in the education system. And on top of that, really anyone at all, because a lot of these tips and ideas can be used by really anyone. But sometimes it's a nice opportunity when you have a 9-month contract and are just in the teaching or education services space. So that is pretty cool. But let's dive into this topic, how teachers can make extra money this summer, as well as anyone in education. And we work with a lot of teachers and a lot of people who are thinking about extra money. And I do want to disclose here that my wife is a teacher and we are both side hustlers. So we both do things outside of our job for sometimes extra money, sometimes just for fun, but whatever it is, I'm definitely talking from experience here. And so some of these ideas actually come from our own past here. So I'm hoping that you might find something useful. Now, of course, summer break, your time, your choice. A lot of people are going to use summer break to just recharge their battery or to de-stress and relax. Maybe you'll have vacations coming up, but it's also an opportunity to make some extra money if you want to too. Extra income is kind of an interesting phenomenon right now in the side hustle world. You have probably heard that term. A lot of people are doing it. 51% of millennials are doing something. And I think what's surprising is 24% of baby boomers, people that are retirees or pre-retirees, are doing something on the side. And so I was surprised and not surprised when I looked at about 20% of teachers have outside income. And so surprised, and maybe that's a little lower than the national average, but also not surprised given that I know that teaching, education, working in school districts, administration is a really stressful job. And so a lot of people feel like they need that time in the summer just to recharge. But for the 20% of teachers that are doing something on the side, they're bringing in what I think is a pretty healthy $425 a month on average. So I think some real opportunity there, especially if you're looking at a little work around the margins. If you need a little extra income, something like this might be a big game changer for a lot of people. Today, what I want to talk about is how teachers and educators and anyone with summers off can make extra money this summer. And I broke this presentation out into 3 sections here. The first section we're going to talk about is really seasonal work, stuff really focused on the summer. Then I will have another section broken out, opportunities where you might be able to make money anytime during the year, maybe anytime during the day, but certainly things that are going to be more available all year round. And then the last one, because this is one that's really rising in popularity, is online work that you can do from potentially anywhere, even if you're traveling or on vacation, but even from the comfort of your own home, so you don't have to go somewhere. And I think this is really a game changer for a lot of people that might not be in a metropolitan area that have a lot of side hustle opportunities available. Now you can take those skills, and just because you're maybe geographically isolated from more opportunity than other people, now you have those same opportunities. And it really allows people and consumers to connect with high quality providers, regardless of where they're at. Now, I do want to throw out a disclaimer here and just say, listen, I'm going to talk about a lot of specific companies, a lot of specific websites and tools, some specific ideas and rules. I'm not endorsing or recommending any of them. Please do your own due diligence. A lot of these were just resources that I was able to pull together as I was putting this presentation together. I can't vouch for many of them, and certainly don't take it as a recommendation, just to check it out and use the advice of your friends or people that are doing this and having success with it as well. That's a really great place to start. So let's start talking about seasonal opportunities. Now, what I mean by seasonal opportunities are things that are available this summer. Now, there are some things that are going to be purely seasonal. What I mean is they're only going to be available in summer. And one of the obvious ones, especially in the education world, is summer school. Summer school is probably available maybe in your school district. If you're at a public or private school district, they may have a program. I will say that what my wife did was actually, she teaches in one of the local public school districts here, but she actually did summer school for a few summers at a local church that had a program from 8 a.m. to noon. So it was really only a half-day program, 4 days a week. And so that was nice because she still had a lot of her summer break, and it was tilted towards the morning. So you could still go out, do things in the afternoon, have your evenings, and then the long weekends free. So a lot of different opportunities there. And a couple of resources that I found that where they are listing these summer school programs, Summer Program Finder and schoolspring.com, or some websites that have a lot of listings for opportunities. Now, I will say too, it may be easiest to go to your administrators and find opportunities right in your own school district. So that might be something that's really obvious. And it doesn't necessarily have to be teaching. It can be lots of different programs might be available, a lot of different opportunities that might even be a little lighter than your normal duties. Summer activities too, all right? There's a lot of summer camps and pools. There are a lot of like community pools and community activities and a lot of day camps. And in particular, my area, the YMCA has programs. You can find some opportunities there. Again, whether sometimes it's counseling and being on the ground with people, maybe it's instructing in a class or volunteering kind of administration, whatever it might be, sometimes pay, sometimes volunteer roles, but a great opportunity to do something with the summer as well. And Cool Works has a section on camp jobs. And then there was another website I found, American Camp Association. Both of these are listing needs in a lot of different places all over the country. So that might be worth checking out too. Again, purely seasonal type of work. It might be guides. You might have an opportunity in your area because maybe it's a tourist destination of some sort. Maybe you're out in the country and there's rafting or biking or those types of things. And if you're in a city, seeing the sights, tours, walking, a lot of these things are available through organizations like showaround.com or even rentafriend.com. And some of these you can just do independently. Rentafriend.com is something that is done directly with you. It's a funny name, but what people do, some tourists, because maybe they're not traveling with anyone, maybe they don't know the area, maybe they don't want to sign up with a tour company, maybe they want to have a little more intimate look at kind of the things on the ground. They can just book some of your time and you're just escorting them around, showing them, pointing out things. And so it could be a good opportunity to meet someone new in a much more casual and intimate environment as opposed to large tour groups. The other thing that you might be able to do is coaching. So maybe you have experience in sports and not even just coaching, but maybe even around the coaching and sports environment. So community rec centers, camps, and churches will have a lot of different leagues. Doesn't necessarily even need to be kids. A lot of corporations will have summer leagues, whether it is volleyball or basketball or things like that. And a lot of associations will recruit in refs and umpires and then create that list of available refs. And a friend of mine actually does that. He is a volleyball judge and he's part of the association. So what he does is he gets these opportunities where there are games or matches, and then he goes and he is the referee for them and he gets paid $50 a game. So he goes, he's got his zebra stripes, he goes, signs in, does the refereeing and then leaves and gets paid through his association. So what I would definitely check are either like your local sports leagues or your local sports associations. There's an activities association where you can find information on becoming either a coach, a referee, or an umpire. So some opportunities there too. Now, I also broke out some things that are mainly seasonal. These are probably tilted very heavily to the summer season, but aren't necessarily only during the summer. A lot of people go on vacation. And so a lot of people want their house set. That is because a lot of reasons, whether they just want this extra security, maybe they're worried about flooding or weak pipes or something like that. So a lot of people will just want their house either lived in or checked in on, and you can do that job. It's going to be very easy. Hopefully, in many cases, it's very uneventful. Housesitter.com, run by Care Guide, is a place where you can sign up and look for house sitting opportunities and trusted house sitters too. You can register. It's almost easier than babysitting because you don't have to entertain anyone in most cases. And another one is pet care. And this is really in two big categories here: walking, caring for pets, giving them their exercise, as well as boarding. So a lot of people don't have time to walk their pets. And a lot of times people want to go on vacation, but they don't want to board their dog in a kennel. They would rather have their pet either at their home or at someone's home that would give them a more comfortable environment. And so there's a lot of opportunities there. I actually have a participant who does both. She walks dogs during the week and the weekends. And then especially on spring break and in the summer, she picks up a lot of dog boarding. So she actually used to have some dogs, and so her house is set up and it's nice and conducive for hosting dogs. And so she actually brings quite a bit of money, thousands of dollars, doing dog boarding. So it's really awesome. WAG is an app. You can just go to your app store, download it, register, and start dog walking right away. Rover.com, they also have an app, will offer dog walking and matching services as well as boarding. And I don't mean to exclude cats. Cats are certainly in here as well as other pets. Dogvacay.com, again, an animal boarding service, and Petbacker animal boarding as well. So a lot of opportunities there. And if you love pets, this could be a great way to interface with some animals and make some money doing it too. And then the third one, lawn care. Between spring and fall, there's a lot to be done. A lot of blades of grass need to get cut, and a lot of people like to outsourcing it. And so you could go and go the old fashioned way where, like when I was growing up, I just knocked on people's doors and said, hey, I would love to cut your lawn. But now it's even easier. You don't even have to do that. So there are a number of apps like Lawn Guru, Task Easy, lawnmowingonline.com, and even my favorite name here, Plows and Mows, is a service that will match up people's needs for taking care of the lawn, cutting their lawn, trimming, edging, whatever it might be, with people who can do it. And Plows and Mows is actually even seasonal in the fact that you can get them for plowing driveways and plowing sidewalks and things like that. So if you like doing that in the winter, you have a nifty snowblower or plow on your truck, that might be an interesting way to pick up some extra money as well. Now, some of the other things that you can do is like usher or security. So this was actually inspired by a buddy of mine and his wife actually volunteer or get paid a little bit, but I call it volunteer because that wasn't really the point is, so they get paid to go and tear tickets and usher people to their seats at a very nice concert hall in Chicago. But it's really not so much about the money. It's about being able to have access to those shows. So they get to sit in the back for any of the shows they want. They don't have to stay around once they do their job, but it's a great way to see lots of great shows that would be ridiculously expensive and they don't have to pay anything for it. So it's a money hack. You would make money and also maybe cut out some of the expenses that you would otherwise be spending money on, or maybe just really enjoy or not have an opportunity to do. Concessions. Now, this is probably pretty obvious. I probably have a ton of stories, but I want to share my own here. I actually had a friend at a local racetrack here in Chicago, had a buddy who did the hot dog stand and he did the beer stand and said, hey, his buddy was going to be out of town for a day and if I could fill in for him. And so I did. And actually what they paid was about minimum wage for the 3 hours that I was there. But what I didn't realize, being magnanimous about it, was that you get to keep all your tips. And so what they did is the facility just brings the hot dogs, restocks you, and you just mark as hot dogs are sold. They know how many hot dogs they've delivered and how many they throw away at the end. And they just expect you to have the money for that, which you do. But then anything above that, you get to keep. So I actually made $25 an hour as a first timer selling hot dogs at the racetrack. I was just standing at the concession cart. So it was really great. I was surprised. It gave me and my wife several nights out for eating. And so it was really, really awesome and unexpected. And I can understand why people want to do that long term because it's really easy work. And so that might be something that you think about. Another buddy of mine actually works at his local baseball field and sells hot dogs out of one of those trays that he carries around and does very well on that too. Now, another role, and I'm going to put this in quotes, product demonstrator, because that's actually the title of the role in most of the listings. And this can be a lot of different things, but I have several friends that do this. One of them had to go to a local parade here in Chicago and hand out sports drinks. So they had a big cooler and they were just handing them out, wearing the shirts and wearing the garb. Another friend of mine goes to the local wine stores here and pours wine, a product demonstrator. So there's a whole big range of what product demonstrators are. Even the people, if you go to Costco and they're cooking up some sample food or showing you the latest granola bars, those are all roles that fall in this product demonstrator category. And so they're really widely varied, but they are really easy. They can be pretty fun. You're usually a contractor. And what I would say is what you want to do is go to the typical job boards and just type in product demonstrator for your area, because that will probably bring up a lot of different options. And sometimes they're regular jobs, sometimes they're one-off, but usually they pay pretty well considering that they are for contractors. All right. Another mainly seasonal job, which I had never heard of until recently, was a field research technician. And this one is a little bit skewed to people who might live in a rural area generally, or an area that might support a lot of research. So maybe you're near a scientifically significant area like for archaeology, or in a farming community where they are looking at soil and pesticides and different things, right? So a lot of times in the summer, what research facilities, schools will do is send out a team to do their research. And what they will do is usually hire from the local area people to do some of the technical things, whether it is bagging and tagging samples or processing things or entering data into a computer. So it can be a really nice, light, leisurely work. And you're making a difference working with people in a technical sense. And it might just be something that you enjoy because you're out and about and meeting some new people. So that is a job opportunity. They usually will compensate relatively decently because they're short and sometimes they need technical skills. The other thing I'm going to throw in here is just regular part-time work. I have people that work a shift at Target. It brings in some income, but more than that, they shop at Target. So they get the employee discount. Again, double-edged for people, right? They get both sides of the benefit. And so a lot of these are going to just be listed on boards: field research technician, product demonstrator, part-time work. Simplyhired.com, Indeed.com are great places where there's going to be a lot of listings. And so you can look for those locally. Now, I want to quick hit up some of the things here that are about anytime during the year, maybe anytime during the day on top of that. And I'm going to break this up into a couple different categories. First one is no assembly required, is what I call it. Really, these are what I call ABC, attendance-based compensation, because you just have to provide the work and the labor. Everything else, kind of A to Z, is going to be provided. And so some of these can be categorized as errands. Instacart.com is a site where you'll get a shopping list and go and shop, a grocery shop for it, put it all together, and then deliver it to a house, right? So you don't have to sell anyone anything. You just have to do the work. And in fact, one of my participants here found Instacart and is doing it successfully and really enjoys it. And the reason she did it was she was in her grocery store and she saw someone shopping with an Instacart shirt and started talking with her. And that lady ended up taking her with her on one of her trips just to show her what it was about. And she loved it so much that she signed up as well. If you don't want to do sales and interface with people and you just kind of want leisurely work, maybe that you're really good at, that's a great way to do it. TaskRabbit.com is another one. It's going to be a little bit more scattered in terms of the roles. Sometimes it's any type of task, like from pick me up donuts or stand in line at the Apple store, whatever it is. Like, people will put tasks that they will pay for on this website and you can grab them and do them. And so you can pick and choose what you like to do. And Dolly.com, again, this one is going to be a more manual labor. Dolly.com is about movers. So if you just want to provide some brute force and move people might have a chair that needs to go down the basement or a truck, a moving van that needs to be unloaded into their house, right? Again, all you have to do is find the jobs that you want and pitch in for them. The other big category here is deliveries. This is going to be a lot of food, but Grubhub.com or UberEats.com is very easy. What you'll do is you'll get the order, you go to the restaurant, you'll pick it up and you'll just deliver it off. So you don't even have people in your car. So if you're worried about doing something like driving for Uber because your car isn't clean or whatever it might be, Uber Eats or Grubhub might be a good option for you. And if you have a big car, you might want to think about Amazon Flex. And if you have a lot of Amazon deliveries in your area, Amazon outsources a lot of those deliveries to local people here. And so you'll go and pick up your delivery goods and go on your route and deliver them off. And so that's another way to make some money too. So Amazon Flex is a nice website where you can go and register for that. Now, I want to talk about some of the anytime jobs that might require some assembly required. And that is because now you might have to own a little bit of the process here. Skilled tradesmen and laborers like electricians or plumbers or carpenter, handyman, drywall, those types of things, right? Not just that, but you can go to a website like Thumbtack, register, get listed there, and people can put out job requests, but you're going to have to bid on them. You might even have to go to some place to do a free estimate. So there's probably more work than just kind of the ones before, the no assembly required jobs. But as a skilled laborer, you might make more, especially on the hourly basis. The other thing is maybe you have more technical skills, professional skills, online skills. Upwork is a great place to go. So maybe you review resumes or you help people write cover letters or you proofread books, whatever. You can go to upwork.com and list some of your skills there and look at jobs that are being offered there as well. Here's another one. I know a friend of mine who has started doing this loan signing agent that's really interesting in that if you're getting a mortgage or home equity loan or home equity line of credit, there are some documents that you have to sign. And loan signing agents are basically contractors that walk you through the documents, get everything sorted out, officially make sure that you're signing everything and everything is nice and legal. Sometimes they're even notaries, so they'll sign it. And you can become a loan signing agent and the banks will often pay like $100 for a closing or $100 an hour for you to go and handle the paperwork for people or be there at a closing. And it's a great opportunity to do a little bit more professional type of work, get compensated, I think, very nicely for it. This website here, Loan Signing System, is a site that will train you on how to do it and show you how to get registered and get work on that. But again, it's going to require a little bit more prep and a little bit more training on the front end. The other thing I wanted to show you here is what I call storefront. And this picture actually is from my friend's Etsy store. My friend runs an Etsy store, and what she does is she lives in a rural area and she goes and collects scrap wood and pretty much anything she can, even old mason jars, whatever. And then she turns them into kind of what we would call country chic art. So she'll take old plywood, use a scroll saw and cut them into letters and then give them a faux finish. You can see some of those candle holders. I think they're called like tea light holders. She'll find some old barn wood and drill some half holes in them to put those lights in there, and we'll sell those on Etsy. And so she makes money, whether it's taking an old piece of plywood and putting a logo or whatever it might be on it. It's a great way. She gets most of those supplies for free, and then it's all gravy for her. So it's really cool. The other thing you might have heard of is drop shipping, and I can't go into a lot of detail on it, but basically that is having some relationships with vendors and selling those products online. In some cases, it's as easy as going to Bed Bath & Beyond's business webpage, registering as a business vendor, and you'll be able to get Bed Bath & Beyond products at wholesale or business rates. And then you can list those on other places for the full retail price, like eBay or Facebook or whatever. And when you get those orders, you can go into your, say, Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm not endorsing Bed Bath & Beyond, but I know they have one program. And then order it right on their website, and they will ship it directly to them. So you don't even take any inventory. You don't reship or repackage anything. And so that can be an easy way to make some money. It does require some work again, and you've got to be checking this on a regular basis. But drop shipping is a big industry right now for a lot of people. All right, let's talk about anytime work. And this is where we're starting to get into things that you might be really relevant for you as being educators or administrators or people that work in education. Hey, maybe you have some skills as a private teacher, right? Teaching guitar, piano, whatever it might be. Websites like takelessons.com and Lesson Face and Live Music Tutor can be great places to find local students that want to learn directly from you. And it's easier now than it's ever been to find those. You used to have to post those up on bulletin boards with little tear-offs with your phone number. So no longer you're going to get connected online. How about test prep instructors? So a lot of people are thinking about school, college, ACT, SAT, SAT2s, whatever it might be, and want help sit through some classes on how to take tests. If you have experience with that, you could lead those on your own, or you could register with companies like Kaplan Test Prep and be an instructor for that. Really help some students that's always perpetually in demand work. And then in-person tutoring. And this is something that my wife does. And she's done it for years, tutoring students. She's an English lit teacher, so she does a lot in the writing and the reading space. And there's always demand for it. And so, in fact, sometimes she offers opportunities to her friends because sometimes there's too much demand, depending on where you live. One way to do that is just to let people know that you're looking for a tutoring opportunity. Put it on Facebook, share with your network. People might have an opportunity for you. But if not, there's a ton of websites, ton of companies that will connect tutors with people from Kumon, Mathnasium, Sylvan, and even Wiseant.com, really interesting website there, so that you can do your tutoring directly with people. And this is often a pretty well compensated role, maybe $50 an hour. So it can definitely be worth your time. Now, the last category, online work. And I'm excited about this because I think a lot of people gravitate towards this. And one of the big ones I want to talk about here is virtual work, online tutoring. So here's a picture of this lady, and she is tutoring online. And this is really what it is like. So you'll work from your computer, you'll have a webcam, you'll use maybe your speakerphone and the speakers on the microphone directly on the computer to help a student learn. I'll get into some more of the details on it, but you can, tutor online, which I think there is a good example of doing that, maybe for an hour, half hour. Sometimes even the sessions are 10 or 15 minutes, but tutoring online, there's a ton of sites out there. Revolution Prep, Tutor Me, Schooly. These will connect you with individual students. But I think what you might be thinking about is that there's one big barrier to tutoring in the summer. And that is that a lot of people are looking for tutoring during the school year, but not maybe as much during the summer breaks. And so you may say, hey, finding someone to tutor in the summer here is not going to be really easy. What ends up filling some of that space is tutoring students overseas. And this is an area that has a lot of people with a lot of demand. And there are also websites dedicated to just this. VIP Kid, Q Kids, Preply, Cambly are all sites that will provide you the opportunity to go online, tutor kids, often some Chinese students that are looking to learn English, Europeans that are looking to hone English skills. There's a lot in the English skill language tutoring segment, but these are all online. You can do them from the comfort of your own home. But one of the really big advantages of this is that you can make $20 to $22 an hour, and you don't have to go out and find students and sell them, and the whole system is already built for you. But then maybe one of the best advantages is that when students are trying to learn overseas, the time during the day that's right for them is actually early morning or evening hours. And so it can actually be good for you because you can still have your day. A lot of people that I know that do this kind of first thing in the morning, they do their tutoring, and now they have all day, all evening. They don't have to worry about anything. They don't have to give up the middle portion of their day to do it. So something that might be worth looking at. Virtual work, teaching. So let's say you're a teacher and you love teaching and you want to do more of it. I found 3 websites that have an interesting spin for helping teachers make money. TakeLessons.com will connect a teacher and a student one-on-one. A lot of these are musical instrument teaching, but sometimes it's language. These are just the ones that were trending on the website when I screenshotted this, but there are tons of different topics. There are topics for almost everyone. So if you have a niche knowledge base and want to find someone that wants to learn about it, you might be able to find them on TakeLessons.com. ElevateK-12.net or .com is an interesting website too, where you're actually teaching a class. This picture is actually from Elevate, and it's a classroom, and it's actually in Illinois, I believe. And the students are taught by a teacher remotely. The lady in the back is actually like a teaching assistant. So she's there to make sure everything is running smoothly and help facilitate things in the room itself. But the teacher is actually being broadcast in the corner of the webpage there, and the students can ask questions and the teacher can look at their screen on their screen. So it's really an interesting thing where you can teach. Now, this is also interesting because you can do it for like night school and summer schools. Maybe you have a break during the day and you're going to just do it for an hour during the day, but a lot of different options there. So I was really impressed with this. And a lot of schools that don't have access to a teacher of a certain topic or a certain skill set will do this. And so it's a really interesting take. I really was intrigued by it. Another website, you may have heard of it, Teachers Pay Teachers. And so Teachers Pay Teachers is kind of like the Amazon of lesson plans. And this is just one lesson plan that I saw on the front page. I just went to the site and I just grabbed on the first listings. And so they had this breaking up the bakery and engaging real world rigorous fraction project. And so this teacher has posted her lesson plan. You can do these for any grade, any topic, and you can price them. And what I thought was interesting about this, and I didn't intend to make this interesting, is that you can buy this for $3.50. And I saw that it has 6,685 readings, which if you do the math, and you say, hey, everyone that bought it rated it, I'm assuming that maybe some more people bought it that didn't rate it. That equates to over $23,000. So maybe your lesson plans can help you bring in some extra money if you've already written them. And to be honest, if you're a teacher and you're looking for some creative ideas, it might be worth spending a few bucks to bring in some new ideas too, but a really great way that maybe some of the work that you've already done could bring in some extra income and not even require any more work on your end. The other thing I want to throw out here is a virtual assistant. So a virtual assistant is actually someone who works online doing kind of administrative things for someone else, like usually a small business owner, whether it's scheduling or rescheduling appointments. Sometimes it's reading emails and forwarding them, the most important ones. Sometimes it is just typing up memos back to people. A lot of times what they will do is use an online task manager and put tasks that need to be done. And the virtual assistant is able to log in when they can, maybe once a week or maybe every day if they want to, and knock off those tasks. So there are websites that you can sign up to get some of these jobs. Virtual and virtualassistants.com seem to be some of the big ones. If you wanted to post your services directly and try to find a client on your own, Upwork or Fiverr.com are probably some good places where you can do that. Virtual assistants, again, comfort of your own home, look like they made about $15 an hour on average. The other thing you can do is take online surveys. If you love sharing your opinion, there's an interesting website here, opinionoutpost.com. You can go and keep taking surveys. If you do this kind of full time, it looks like you can make about $10 an hour. So it's not necessarily the most lucrative thing, but again, you can just set up an account and start doing it right away. Interesting there too. Now, I do want to share with you some of the resources that I really like. Some of these are going to be pretty obvious, but one of the things out there is podcasts. There's a bunch of podcasts on how to make money, side hustles. One of my favorite is the Side Hustle Show. It's a podcast that's free. Lots of different opportunities and ideas there. The other thing is use YouTube. There are tons of videos. If you want to know what it takes to become an Uber driver, if you want to know how much people are making working at Grubhub or what it takes to shop for Instacart, someone has probably made a video on it. It is a great way to get a behind the scenes look at what people are really making, what it really takes, and familiarize yourself to say, hey, is that something I want to do, as opposed to just trying it, right? So you can explore a lot of different things. And then the other one that I saw was Facebook groups. So if you type in teacher side jobs or teachers making money or Arkansas teachers or San Diego teachers or Michigan teachers, right? There are probably tons of groups where you can go on and dialogue with actual people who are doing it, other practitioners who might be able to give you some tips, maybe even introduce you or give you some resources. Now, I know I covered a lot of things here. Again, no endorsement on anything, not recommending anything. Proceed cautiously on anything. Make sure it's the right fit for you. Make sure everything is on the up and up. But I did put a handout together, a PDF. You can download it. Has all the resources. Most of the companies that I mentioned here, the websites are available in this PDF so that you can find those. So hopefully you didn't have to take notes during this. And what I really like about the idea of making money is that it's really unleashing your own potential. A lot of times we get so caught up in our job, right? How much am I making? How much am I working? And even sometimes use that as a threshold or the boundaries of what we're capable of doing. So doing something on the outside can be really freeing. In fact, 45% of people who have side hustles say they would do those side hustles regardless of the money. It's just something they enjoy. It's a way they can express themselves. And this is not an exhaustive list by any means. Certainly go out and use some of these that make sense, but come up with your own ideas. Maybe this sparks some interest. Maybe you want to run your own business or paint or be a photographer or shoot video, whatever it might be. There's a lot of opportunities. Don't limit yourself to just what we shared here. So hopefully something here will help you have the summer that you want, as well as earn the money that you want. Thanks for joining me today.